All right. Hey Henry, are you able to watch the chat if there's questions? Okay, cool. So today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and what that all means. So my background has been in higher education and library since I was 16. I started off as a page in a library, and I then was director of IT. And then I started working with universities and libraries all over the world, trying to help them better their technology. And so in doing so, I learned a lot of like value adds and lesson learned. And so I'm going to talk about some of the tools that I use in my everyday life, some of the tools that I recommend others to use and explore. And then at the end of the presentation today, I'll give you access to a website where you can play with some of the AI tools that are usually you pay for. I made them available for free because I want to lower the challenges and barriers with getting people to play with new tech. So a few disclaimers before I ever talk about a technology event. We're talking about tech trends. I always like to highlight that technology is inherently neutral. You can use it for really, really good things, or you can use it for not so good things. But technology as a whole is always neutral. Another thing about technology is that it shifts and changes rapidly. So when I was going to school, do any of you use Wikipedia? So Wikipedia at one point when I was going to school was like outlawed. Like if you use Wikipedia, you're using bad sources and you can't put it in a paper or you'll be, expelled or whatever it may be. And now everyone seems to reference Wikipedia for almost everything. It's probably a smart move not to use Wikipedia though as a younger individual, because I would edit Wikipedia to prove a point. So like if someone was arguing with me, I would like as I'm arguing, I'm editing the Wikipedia page and go, all right, let's look at Wikipedia really quick and see who's right. And that's how I won all my arguments. But another big thing with technology shifts as people resisted was higher education and online courses. Online courses prior to early 2000s was considered uh, irrelevant, not credible. If you took an online course, it meant nothing. But now you can actually go get a 4-year degree, you get a master's degree entirely online. So technology shifts constantly. And as always, technology is inherently neutral. One of the other things that people will bring up when we talk about artificial intelligence is what is that going to do to the job market? And I always say it'll create new opportunities just as much as it takes away opportunities. So if we think about when the car was invented, a lot of people were upset that the horse and buggy individuals are going to be out of a job, the leatherworking will be out of a job, the blacksmiths will be out of a job, and instead the blacksmiths started working on the carriage of the car, the leather people worked on the belts for the car. And so those jobs just became outmoded to match the new technology. And so that's what's going to happen again, I believe, with artificial intelligence. And then artificial intelligence as a whole changes quite rapidly. And all these slides will be shared. I don't know if there's a way to email everyone when we're done. So don't feel if I go through slides quite quickly. I want to give you as much information as I can in our short hour. And so I'll just do a massive brain dump of all the things that I've learned over the years. But as you can see, technology as a whole has shifted rapidly. Zoom actually was in a lot of trouble because Zoom said every single session that if you use, we're going to use it to train our AI model to make it better. And then everyone's like, well, we don't like that. And so they had to edit it. For those around Facebook, by having a Facebook account, you agree that your data can be used to create generative AI content. You probably didn't know that. But if you search far enough on the help page, you will find an article that lets you opt out of having that thing. And so it changes daily. There's policies being removed, policies being added, even as we speak. So there's a lot of different flavors of artificial intelligence. Have anyone here used ChatGPT? Okay, cool. I'll talk about that today. So I'll give you the main buckets of artificial intelligence. Oops, next slide. So definition of artificial intelligence is simply the theory and development of using a computer system to perform human tasks that ordinarily require a human to do it. And it can be anything from visual interpretation, translations, understanding data, or making a decision. All of that could be considered artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is made up of what's called machine learning or language models. Machine learning is basically a pool of data that allows the AI to think on its own, think independently, and make better decisions through identifying patterns and inferences. So today we're going to talk a lot about AI, and hopefully you're going to be like the cat on the left. I usually present with librarians, and they all love cats. So the cat memes are very, very strong with me. So understanding artificial intelligence, there's a lot of different ways you can program AI. Early on, there was called logic rules. So if something occurs, provide an output, and all those outputs and inputs were coded through what's called an if-then statement. So if I was to build a flashlight app using that kind of AI, my code would literally be, if it's dark, turn on the light. Simple flashlight app using AI. Now, if I incorporated machine learning, where it would get better over time and start having better data to make those decisions, my code would pick up other words for dark, such as dimly lit or something to that effect. And so that code would then, my flashlight app would pick up on those other words and want to turn on. If I go look into what's called deep learning or neural networks, which is a mesh of data sets together, my code would look something more like, oh, hey, I can't see. And then the app would turn on automatically. So those are like the three main types of artificial intelligence. We're coding it in a very black and white using a flashlight analogy. AI, the way AI gets better and better is through one of these four buckets. First is learning on experience. And so the system or an artificial intelligence would learn on positive and negative experiences, very similar to how you would train a dog or teach a child things. If they do it right, you get a praise. If you do it wrong, you don't get praise. And AI has something very similar in its mindset. The other piece is learning on examples. And this is when we provide an AI a bunch of data sets and we say, learn from these. And so if you ever reported a message as spam in your email box, that is basically you teaching the AI how to detect spam. Because as you report more and more spam messages, it sees those patterns, make those inferences, and act. And these two together can be part of what's called self-learning, where over time the AI gets better and better and looks at its own data and makes its own patterns to better itself. And the last piece about how an AI can become better or how it identifies patterns is through what's called unstructured data. So until recently, if you wanted to code an AI, you have to give it like an Excel file. Here's all the inputs, here's all the outputs. But now I can give it a paragraph of text and say, make this make sense, evaluate this, without having to tell it anything else about what the text is about. And it leverages that component through the other learning data sets that it has. And so it's called unstructured data when you take a bunch of data that's not tagged in any way, shape, or form, and you have the AI digest it and report it. But all these things are part of what's a paradigm called garbage data in, garbage data out, which simply says you can have the best model in the world, but if your data is wrong in any way, shape, or form, you're going to have bad results. So that's why if you're ever using an artificial intelligence app or you're talking to one of those chat bots online that's powered by AI and you get weird responses of what you didn't even ask it, that's because somewhere along the way it was fed a bad piece of data and it just uses that data over and over again. Or the reverse is you can have a really, really great data set, but a bad model, a bad program, you're going to get bad results. So it's very challenging to get the right recipe down. And so some basic challenges of artificial intelligence being able to act autonomously involves context, precision, and training. Context is the idea of an artificial intelligence not knowing specific word or like phrases or your emotion state behind it. The best example I ever like to use is the dad joke that when Siri first came out, you can go, hey, Siri, call me an ambulance. And it would do the dad joke of the century and goes, okay, I'll call you ambulance from now on. Instead of understanding that there's an emergency, it didn't know that context. And so a programmer had to then program that context into its brain to know if someone says, call me an ambulance, it's not time to rename them as ambulance. There's probably something going on. Precision is the idea of that garbage data in, garbage data out. So in order for it to be precise, we need to make sure that the data we give is accurate and understandable. And there's no incoherent results or no misunderstandings. The last component of a good artificial intelligence is the training of the AI. So it's very similar to having good data. If you build an AI bot or you're leveraging one, there still needs to be someone coding it every single day to making sure that its inputs are giving the right outputs. So when those things aren't done correctly, you have some pretty funny mishaps. Oh, let me get rid of that little box up there. Oops, I guess I can't. So you'll have some pretty funny mishaps. This is called Tay. So early on in 2016, Microsoft released its own artificial chatbot, put it on Twitter, and it was supposed to be designed as a 19-year-old girl that interacts with the world and learns from it. Remember when I said technology is inherently neutral? So internet trolls, as we can call them, taught Tay a whole bunch of inappropriate comments, phrases, and rhetoric. So Tay was then flooded with bad context and bad data. And so then Tay became this very angry 19-year-old girl that was then tweeting out very political and incorrect statements, trying to start wars with other countries and other Twitters, because they didn't teach Tay what was good language, was bad language. All right, she's the worst. Unhappy accident was do you ever see those like inspirational posters, like with a little cat hanging on a branch and says, hang in there? So someone wanted to build an AI that puts those together for you. And the goal was people would approve, like, oh, this example makes sense. This text and this image. But people like try to ruin it. And so it's inspirobot.me. And what you're able to do is you'll see like random images and random text, and they make like inspirational posters that are sometimes kind of confusing. Like the wedding photo that says the human spirit could be like a flying pig. A little joke just in case if I wasn't funny. So artificial intelligence can be used in a variety of different ways in a variety of different tools and departments. So we have what's called generative AI, where we can make content. We have operational AI, which allows you as like a manager or a user to have a better workflow. Conversational AI, interacting with an artificial intelligence. A little bit about the metaverse, which is the idea of incorporating AI into VR and AR, and a lot of analytics and data mining as well. So there's a company called CB Insights that every year they will post out their top 100 companies across a variety of different industries for a variety of different tech. So they'll do like AI, 3D printing, robotics, etc. So this is their AI chart of different AI companies in gaming or in defense or education, content creation, fashion and retail. I think one of the apps are you can take a selfie of what you're wearing and it'll tell you if it matches or not. So us guys in here, we don't have to ask for help anymore. We can just use the AI to do it. Generative AI. So let's dive more into generative AI. So generative AI is the idea of using trained data to create content. And in terms of content, we can create images, we can write text, we can create music, we can code. Anything you would want to create is under the umbrella of generative AI. So the technical thing behind it is this is an AI image generated. I told it to make a joke. And the joke is for deep learning only, and it's litter box. But the way training, if you were to build a generative AI model, you would upload a lot of images of similar content. If you wanted to teach it how to draw a cat, you would upload a lot of pictures about a cat and say, now make one of these. And these is called a cat. And so that's how that training model works. So some cool success stories. If you ever can't sleep at night, this is a book written by AI about lithium ion batteries. It was the first book written entirely by AI. It's a riveting read, very detailed and boring as heck. Then there's other fun little apps. This is called the Lensa app. And I uploaded like 30 pictures of myself, and I wanted it to create like artsy, like steampunk futuristic images. All my friends that have done these have their photos of smiling. It's bright colors, happy. These were mine. I had no smiles in any of them. And I was a little perturbed by this. And I was like, what the heck? Like I uploaded pictures of me smiling, and all these are like I've went through some stuff and I'm busy processing it. And so I asked the creator, and I'm like, hey man, what gives? Like I can't share these. And apparently, part of the model that they used to train was Viking data. And Vikings are bearded men that look solemn. And I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense. So I don't feel as bad. But I'm passive aggressive, so I made my own AI to do professional photoshops. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to prove that I can smile. And so I built this. I uploaded like 100 photos of me in different outfits that I had over the years. And I said, now make me images. And these are what it came out with. My mom was easily fooled. And that's my own mom. That's why I don't talk to her anymore. And she's like, wow, where'd you get these new suits? Oh, this is really cool. Oh, wow, where were you? These are some really good shots you took. Oh my God, you have like a twin brother. He looks just like you. And I'm like, Mom, seriously? My brother knew right away. He's like, you look like the one in the red. He's like, you look like that tin soldier from not Toy Story, Santa Claus 2. And I was like, well, my brother knew right away. My mom's like, oh, you're in the water? That looks pretty cool. I'm like, all right, Mom, you're not paying attention at all. But then this leads into the concept of what is a deep fake. So it's using AI to manipulate an image or replicating or creating a digital twin of an actual person. In 2017, there was a bunch of individuals that were able to create video content of politicians, presidents, and et cetera, and looked so real that some of the news reported it incorrectly because you couldn't tell, like it was flawless. Nowadays, it's really easy to create a fake image of somebody else. Like, I mean, these fooled my mom, so if I tried a little harder, who else could I fool? Um, and so there's a few websites you can use this to replicate Deep Swap AI and FaceSwap.dev. You can practice and see like how easy it is to manipulate images of you to look like somebody else, and then record yourself saying whatever you want and having it look like it came from somebody. So then the challenge is can we use AI to detect if something else was created by AI? Prior to 2022, probably, because most of the data that existed in the world was human generated. So when you ask those AI detectors, is this human generated or not? It look at everything created so far and goes, well, this is vastly different than what I have. So no, so yes, it's AI generated. But now, since people have created so much content using AI can't accurately do that anymore because now all these things are on the ether and no one's tagging if it was generated by AI or not. And so those detectors are, in my opinion, are useless. Yep, pretty much. All right. And so some interesting data. So in 2019, prior to like this rise of generative AI content, we created 463 exabytes of data, which to put in perspective, your computer has maybe, I feel like you have like a beefy computer, maybe a terabyte, or a stack of computers would make a terabyte. An exabyte is, I think, 10 million of those. So every single day, 463, 10 million laptops are filled with data at a high level. Uh, and across a variety of streams. So we as humans like to create content at an alarmingly fast rate. Here's some more little estimates that people put together in 60 seconds, how much time and how much data is being consumed on a variety of different platforms. And as you see those spikes of data use, so 2019 to 2020, I think it was around when TikTok first started popping up. And so every time you have one of those bursts of new technology, you have a burst of consumption of data. They say over 2/3 of the world's data is user generated at this point. So operational AI is, so changing gears, operational AI is what I considered artificial intelligence tools to make your life better. So you can use it to edit images. You can have it write you programs and scripts. You can use it in management. You can use it to better your social media, and you can even use AI for cybersecurity. So the tool I've referenced at the bottom, you can upload an image and you can say, remove this orange in this picture, or yeah, this orange slice. You highlight it, tell it to remove it. Very simple to use. It's just through a few clicks. If you're using Photoshop, you can actually highlight. This is a friend of mine out to dinner, and he's edited it over a period of small little edits, like adding drinks to the table, making the pictures zoom out more to see more people, and then changing everyone's faces and seeing what happens. And it took maybe a half hour to do all those. Social media tools, and I'll give some examples at the end. But you can use AI to manage your social media. You can have it automatically tweet or automatically post. You can have it automatically reply to stuff. You can schedule things out. So for me, since like 2017, I decided I don't like social media anymore, and I use an AI to manage all my social media postings because I don't have to look at it, and it keeps me relevant in the field. IT security, there's a whole bunch of ways that people can use AI in cybersecurity. One of my favorite examples is this company called Darktrace. So Darktrace is like a physical box you can plug into a network, and it learns what everyone does on the network. So it'll learn, like, someone is on TikTok all day, and then someone else might, be uploading files. Someone else might be downloading files every day, and it learns those behaviors over a period of about 90 days. And then if it sees something from that behavior that differs, it'll block that as a potential attack. So if I've never downloaded data before and suddenly I'm downloading terabytes of data, I'm probably a malicious actor, and it's going to prevent me from doing that. And so it's an AI powered like intrusion detection system, which I thought was pretty impressive. hmm but then there's also like the dark sides of AI and cybersecurity. One of the best examples is you can use a conversational AI tool and say, "Hey, look at this website. Is there anything on this website that might be hackable?" And a badly programmed AI might go, "Oh yeah, we can hack that. Here, try this code. Try this code." And so malicious actors, or hackers as people historically have called them, will use tools like this to get into systems. And so it's really interesting how we're pivoting. So that's operational AI. Conversational AI is the idea of using artificial intelligence to have a conversation, whether it's reviewing data or having it look at something you wrote and giving you feedback. So the most popular use is Chat GPT. So if you go to chat.openai.com, you can for free talk to an AI model, ask it questions, see what it says. You can ask it who Brian Fitchman is, and sometimes you'll get a cool answer. Other times you'll get like one that's super far-fetched. But the idea is that it's leveraging language models to have a conversation with you. And it's really easy to train AI off data that you own. So if you had like a family photo book or something to that effect, or a family tree, and you can feed it into an AI and say, "Hey, which one of my family members' birthdays are coming up?" And it'll spit it back out for you because you told it, give it a spreadsheet, if you will. You'll never have to remember birthdays again. You can incorporate AI into almost every one of your corporate chat tools. If you're using Slack, Teams, Messenger, you can incorporate AI into those to have conversations, answer questions, to summarize what people are talking about. AI can also have personalities. So you can train an AI to be aggressive or funny or humorous. You can even train an AI to fall in love. Anyone ever see the movie Her? Okay. So for those that didn't, Her is a movie in 2013 where an artificial intelligence bot and this individual, he fell in love with the AI. And so it's super easy to do. You can make that in about an hour, and a couple will have mimic. So Scarlett Johansson played the voice of the AI. So then you have people taking her voice, which is really easy to find online, enough data, to then create a digital twin of Scarlett Johansson in about an hour it takes to build something like that. Over here. So training it is very simple. You can teach an AI to respond in ways you want with the answers that you want it to give. I mentioned metaverse, and at a very high level, the idea of a metaverse is taking artificial intelligence and putting it into a virtual world that I can interact. So I can put on a headset and interact with a digital twin, or I could practice my public speaking with artificial intelligence by going through a VR simulation, seeing individuals, giving a presentation, and it's coaching me through it as the AI is being fed. Oh, well, let's make this person sweat a little bit more. Let's interrupt them and see how they do. And then you get a score. There's a company called Equal Reality as well that does AI and VR training on like racial biases, bullying, cyberbullying, harassment, and things like that. And so you can put on a headset and learn about those things. And then we have analytics. So that is making our data make more sense. And so we can leverage AI to do that. If anyone ever have to do stuff in Microsoft Excel, like write formulas and stuff, and you have to like it takes forever for us to remember what formula to use. So here's like why you showed up today. If you go to formula.dog, you can type in English like I need a formula that takes data from this cell and do something with data in this cell and give me a result in this cell. And you type it out just like that, and then it gives you the formula for it. In terms of analytics, AI can be used in a lot of other ways too, or data, sorry. So we can look at images or graphs and take a picture of it. It'll analyze it. You can take a picture of something in English and say translate and give it to you in a different language. Or if you're traveling overseas, do the reverse. There's the idea of advanced user preferences. So that's how Amazon and Netflix recommend things to you. It's looking at everything you watch compared to everybody else's, what they're watching. And for people that are similar, it recommends the differences. And then the idea of sensory data analysis, which is like your Fitbits or your Apple Watches that know if you're running or jogging. So for me, if I'm for some reason running, it actually alerts me and says, should we call 911? You don't exercise. So what's up? It doesn't do that, but it does know when I'm running. AI is even good at understanding cognitive intelligence, where I can upload a photo of a facial expression or a video, or sorry, an audio file, and say, hey, analyze their emotions and tell me how people are feeling. And it'll rank those on a scale. You can use AI to scrub websites and pull data off of a web page and give you an Excel sheet. So let's say there was like a contact page that you wanted to harvest data from, like the yellow pages. It can summarize that for you and give you a report. This is pretty cool. There's a company called Crife. I met them in like 2020. They built a AI video surveillance type tool. It's done by FBI. She was an FBI profiler that then trained this AI to watch you, and it'll tell you if you're lying, if you're being genuine, if you're holding something back, using all the skills she's learned over her career. And it's a really interesting use of tech and even assistive technology. So if you have an iPhone, there's a tool called Personal Voice. And so on your iPhone, you can read 250 statements and it'll then digitize your voice as a digital twin. And then you can type in your iPhone and it will read just like how you sound. And then there's also other tools like Dubverse that you can upload videos in other languages and with a click convert those into whatever language you wish. What's next? And so a lot of conversations are taking place about like how far is too far using AI. There isn't, and I'll talk about it at the end. There's not a lot of guardrails of what you can and cannot do. The idea is as long as they're safe and doesn't purposefully impact the society in a negative way in terms of harming them, it's okay. But one of my friends, Louis Rosenberg, has a theory that if we don't curb how AI can be used by industries like stores, we can really easily influence everyone's decisions. And that's ignoring the idea of deep fakes or fake content. That's one way to do it. This is just simply like, I want to increase sales. And so he created this video called Privacy Lost. And the people on Zoom, hopefully you can hear it. Oh, can you guys not hear? It's going through my headset. 1 second. I think. Uh, this might work. Talking about golf for the weekend. So the conversation is, how far is too far? Like you really use AI to make decisions. Then you can also use AI to basically empower people to change what they want to buy. So some little jokes. So we also see artificial intelligence being incorporated in robotics. So every year, Samsung comes out with a set of new robots. So it's cheaper than having children for like 50 grand, I think. You can have something that will place your dinner tables and do your dishes without complaining. So boom, there you go. Uh, but you'll see, so there's a sushi restaurant actually like maybe a half hour south of here that I've yet to visit, but apparently it's all robots. There's not a single human there. And you go in, you order from the little kiosk robot, and then it goes in the back. They have little machine arms that then make the sushi roll, and then it comes and delivers it to you. And so, but I've seen these little robots in airports, lounges. Some restaurants actually have the one in the top right that just like as bus boys. You can also buy them for your home. They range from anywhere from about $500 to about 4 or 5 thousand now. Like these smart little smart home ones on wheels that beep and boop as they travel along your house to interact with you. Some of them, yeah. There's an AI cat called Meta. It'll purr when you pet it, and you can talk to it, and it'll look at you. I have a picture of Meta. No, I do not. What else? And then we see artificial intelligence being incorporated in autonomous vehicles, robots, and drones as people continue to use it to explore. So I built an AI powered playground. You can create images, you can create text, graphics, all for free. Um, I set it up as a 30-day trial so people from outside of my library world don't sign up and use it. So if you want, and again, these slides will be shared. Hit that website when you get home later or whatnot. You sign up for again 30-day or 60-day trial. I can't remember what I set it to, and I'll give you full access to a bunch of powered AI stuff where you can have a conversation with an AI. You can ask it to make images. You can have it remove background images. I'm tinkering with a few other little things that I think would be fun. Uh, but it's free. If you need more time, just email me on the little app, and I can extend it. The cost of running this for me for I don't know, maybe like 100 users are on it. I think it costs me maybe $10 a month. So it's very low cost to basically let people create images and text and stuff. So some fun AI powered gadgets that I've come across over the years that I really enjoy. This is Luca. Luca is an AI bot that can read to you. You hold a book up to Luca and it'll read it. And it has like 90,000 books in its brain. If you can also do language translation, so if the book is written in one language, you want to hear it in another, it has the ability to do that. This is Miko. Miko is a companion bot for children. It learns as the child learns and increasingly challenges them to improve their skills. This is Zumi. Zumi is a self-driving car. It's like this big, and you can teach it how to drive on its own autonomously. So you start off small with teaching it how to follow a line. Then you can teach it stoplight colors. You can teach it hand motions, and then it will be able to drive autonomously. And then this is a drone. This is a self-driving drone. Again, similar to the car, you can have it like land on specific colors, identify objects and shapes, and so forth. Uh, this is a company called Ties Education. They have two different robots. What's really fascinating to me is you can program these with or without computers. The robots can interact with each other, and you can learn how to program artificial intelligence with these bots. Like what's next? What do I think how AI is going to continue to change? Here's some thought-provoking questions to like guide understanding. Uh, for people that are in higher education, we say like look at your course guidelines. You may have to change how things are working, and if you can recognize AI. AI changes really, really fast. Should you use this as an academic, or can you use it as a productivity aid? Some challenges to noodle over. Uh, like is AI bad? Again, I attribute all technologies as neutral. You can use it for good things or you can use it for bad things. It's been around for decades. And only recently has there been a lot of noise because a company called OpenAI released this free tool called ChatGPT that allows you to have a conversation with an AI bot for free. And granted, everyone that was using it, the free version, was allowing it to get trained better and better and better. So it was free labor. It made a very good business sense. As another really fun antidote, do you ever run into those images where in order to sign in, you have to like choose what's a dog or what's a cat or type in the numbers? That was Google teaching or having Google learn how to identify objects. So you help train the computer vision that Google uses today, disguised as a security feature. I thought that was beautifully brilliant. And so for me, I use AI as a tool to become more efficient or more accurate. If I think of it back when I was in grade school and all my college or all my teachers were like, you have to learn how to do math the hard way. You'll never carry a calculator in your pocket. And now I have a cell phone that literally has an app called Calculator, and I can carry a calculator in my pocket at all times. And so I see AI as just like my calculator. Sure, I might become a little lazy with spelling in some regards, more than I already am. But it's a tool that allows me to be more efficient and more effective. So some interesting things in like the library verse when we're looking at copyright and privacy. There's conversations taking place is what data can you use to help write articles, or what data can you use to publish? Are you allowed to use AI to make publishing choices? There's a bunch of tools that exist out there for AI. I'll show you a couple more before we wrap up. How do you guide patrons, or how do you guide sons, daughters, nieces, nephews about the right tools to use? Uh, and the biggest one for me is social media was designed to be this space where open collaboration can happen. Like everyone has an idea. The world, if everyone used technology for good, social media would be amazing because people would use it in better society. But it also facilitates a lot of misinformation. So conversations should take place is how do we teach good epistemic practices, or how do we teach good use of technology to better society as a whole? Uh, what's that? Yep. So these are some like research scholarly publishing avenues of how they see AI being used. If you disclose it, are you able to use it to create images or art? These are the three main AI companies that exist. OpenAI is ChatGPT. Anthropic is another AI company. And the far right one, Gemini, is Google's. So they all have very specific use cases of how they use the data that you're interacting with. As a big overall arching thing, never upload anything that you think is sensitive information or personally identifiable to any AI model. Even if it's like, hey, give it to us. We can tell you about your family tree if you tell us your family social security numbers and names and stuff. Don't. Even if they promise like you will find your long lost cousin, you don't know what they're going to do with that model, that data, and they might come up for something different. Google at least is very honest. They say if you're using Google Mail, if you're saving stuff in your document folder, we're going to use it to train AI. So they're like, just they're telling you the truth at least. In November of 2023, Congress held a session about what we should do about artificial intelligence. All these different companies are coming up with new software and then allowing people, everyday users, to leverage their tool sets to make their own apps. So what are the rules in place? And so they decided that every company that is the big ones, they need to write out how they're going to ensure people's safety. So if I don't make something malicious using their tools, can they detect it? And so OpenAI has safety teams. They review the models that are being created, and they make sure that people aren't using it to do nefarious things like cyber hacking and so forth. Anthropic has a really unique way of doing it. They have like weak AI and strong AI, if you will. So like a weak AI could do like simple math, and a strong AI could tell you how to build a rocket. But in order to get to the building of the rocket, you have to actually get security clearance, if you will, to get access to that stronger AI. Google talks more about their research purposes and their cybersecurity around it. Microsoft puts plans together. So if you want to build X, this is how they make sure you don't do anything outside that. Amazon has a set of rules that they will query your data, query whatever you're making to make sure they're not violating any policies. And Meta did not do anything. which is Facebook. And this is some really interesting images that circulated national news that were completely generated by an AI generation tool called Midjourney. And so people with guns by the White House or Biden's stunt double or whatever it may be, all these images were 100% fake, created by AI before we even had these discussions about what AI is. So it was a fascinating tale about how this stuff has existed for so long, and only until recently people started talking about it. Oh, yeah, you can. And even with the images that I showed, like if you looked at my like this is something I built in a couple hours. Like the hands aren't good. If I had Photoshop skills, I can fix all that. Yeah, there isn't a way to do it. Because there's no, yeah, well before that too, yeah. Because there's no money in it. There's no money involved. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I think the answer to your question, yeah, I think the answer to your question is most of these companies. So if I was building an AI company and I want to make money, would I rather prevent stuff like this or make my tool better than my competitors? Most likely, I would want to make my tool better than my competitors, and so to do that, I'm going to invest more money into that bucket. Money is I like money. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got to repeat the question. So the question was for the people online was why isn't anyone building tools to prevent that? And actually, I take that back. Meta and Google, I think, or Apple, one of the two, they have a contest every year where they'll give grant money to build models to detect AI. But so far, they're only 83% successful. Correct. The evolution's too fast. And so, yeah, it's like a huge discussion point in the library world, in higher education, and in politics of like, how do we tag it? Like, there's no tech for it yet to tag what is AI and what isn't. Like, that's not something people thought through. But it's a very good question and a very interesting conversation. Yeah, you're gonna lead right into my next slides then. Perfect. Uh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. I'll give you your 20 bucks. Don't worry. Okay. Where were we? Oh, so in the library world, the tools that I recommend libraries to use, and I use on a regular, semi-regular basis. These are semi-regular. These are my favorite content generation tools. There's Writer, which I can give it some text. I'm like, make me sound funny. It'll fix it. Or if I'm trying to think of like bounce ideas back for an outline of a paper, I'll use it to bounce ideas back and forth. Super Machine creates art. And so a lot of the images that I use, because I don't want to have to pay for, there's like free image websites and stuff like that, but I can never find the image that I want. So I can use AI to create the image that I'm trying to make a point with. Steve AI makes videos. So you can give it a bunch of text to an AI and it will then uh, create a video for it. And Flicky is a tool that does text to audio with near human realistic voices. Someone online asked, "How long before we abandon the entire internet because it is filled with fake information, unsafe sites, and hackers around every corner?" I think what needs to occur is a conversation about what tools are the safe tools to use and which tools you shouldn't use. Um, at the end of the day, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, as it were. You can't say, oh, suddenly everyone, you can't use these tools. But what we could do as a society is only use the tools that are following a public good mission. Like, don't use Meta if Meta doesn't want to build a security policy, but that's a whole nother battle. Um, But yeah, I'm always of the opinion like we just need a day. Sound probably sounds bad as a tech nerd. Like just shut off the internet for like a week just to see what people do. Like all of a sudden you're like reconnect with your brothers or whatever it may be. Um, but that's just my 2 cents. Suno AI is really really fun. It'll create songs for you, and I'll show you. So my dog passed away, and in order to honor her, I decided that I would use AI to write a song and play it everywhere I go. Oh, thank you. So, nope, okay. Technology these days. Oh, that was loud. So I like punk music a lot, and so I said write a song to the tune of punk music, and it wrote this song. Yeah, I gave it a prompt of write a song about my dog who passed away, and she was awesome, and do it to a punk music. I think I said do it to the tune of Bowling for Soup. And then I had another one that I did to the tune of Taylor Swift. The style of music worked pretty well. I sent it to Taylor and she didn't reply, so we're not on talking terms, I guess. Um, all right, where were we? So that's Suno. Another cool video content creation to libraries to use to create promotional videos is Pictory. And then these are the everyday tools that I use in everything I do. Crisp is a I'm making sure they can still hear me online. Cool. Crisp is a tool that will get rid of background noise. If you have a barking dog and you're on a call, it gets rid of it very, very well. Uh, but it also will listen to your meeting and summarize what you said and what other people have said for you as like a bullet list. Hoist is an overlay for as you present or as you meet people, do an interview, whatever it may be. You tell it what the meeting's about, then you can upload your agenda or it'll sync your agenda from your calendar. And as you talk about specific items on your agenda, it will cross those out for you so you can remember to stay focused on your bullet list. And then MeetGeek is my favorite meeting tool. It joins all of the meetings I go to and take the notes for me, tell me who is going to what action item Brian's doing, what action item Henry's doing, and so forth. Someone asked a question as well online. Will you share slides afterwards? Yes, I will share the slides. That's MeetGeek. For social media, these are my favorite 3 tools. Q, Missing Letter, and Okaya. What Q does is it will find articles that are interest of what I typically will talk about and post those on my social media. Missing Letter will look for an article that I wrote. I would point to it and say, make this sound viral. It'll find the good quotes in my article and then automatically tweet and post them out and in time intervals where it knows my users are going to be online the most. And then Okaya will completely automate my postings, create images and create text based off a prompt I would give it. So like this week, I want funny cat jokes, post, and it will plan them out for me. You can. If you're looking to grow your followers on social media, Instu is an AI that will randomly follow and unlike posts to get your traction up. It can do TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and even Tinder for some reason. Be human. You can make a digital clone of yourself. So I always hypothesize with libraries, wouldn't it be amazing to welcome every single individual that walks into your library, like gets a library card, I should say. So they go home that day after they got the brand new library card, get an email from the library director saying, hey, their name, introducing them to the community, and then like just pulling out some facts that they included in when they signed up for their library card. Every user would be like, wow, that director took the time out of the day to send me a custom video. But all it was a director that spent maybe an hour or two recording themselves with spaces in a video stream that they uploaded a spreadsheet to and it fills in the rest. And then Wisecut is a really neat tool if you ever convert VHS tapes to digital and you have all those like static blocks and things like that. This gets rid of all those, enhances the audio. I can even give you a trailer of your like 1992 Disney trip of what it thinks are the highlights. So that's Wisecut. So here is, so if you want to take a picture of this slide, uh, I have a list of tools that you can use. If they have a button that says logins provided, use that username and password to sign in, and you can then use what I paid for to create content. And then a bunch of the other ones are like sign up for a free trial. The ones that say free trial don't require a credit card, so make as many trials as you would like. Uh, yep. Oh yeah, yeah. They'll be in the slides. Yeah. And so I gave us only 3 minutes for questions, but are there any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints or otherwise? Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, yeah, no problem. It can be used to train its data. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So to yeah, yeah. So there's leverage your library for a lot of things. And leverage your library for a lot of things. So there's some tricks of the trade. So sorry for the people online. The the comment is, how do we navigate through all this? Because almost every site we use, we are agreeing to let them use our data in some way or another. Um, so there are some tools out there to help. And so I have a cybersecurity background as well. We call it mitigating. So you can mitigate pretty well by using a computer that's not associated to you. So when you need to do stuff, like go to a library and use that computer instead, because everything you do is not going to be tied to you unless you signed into something. The reason why Facebook is free, Google Mail is free, Yahoo Mail is free, is because when you sign up, you agree to certain. Uh, mhm, uh-huh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there's a company called Macedon, and they call it a decentralized social media network. And so you would join a server. people you trust, and now you have a social media platform that is not going to be used to yeah, Mastodon. Yep, like the dinosaur Mastodon. Yep. Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's most of it's called opt out. Um, so if you find your name on like Searchio or Spokio or something, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But I would again, technology can be used for good or bad. There's still a lot of people doing really good, amazing things, and so mhm, yeah, yeah, hmm yeah. The EU has, yeah, and I think that's hopefully going to change in the states soon, because we're like the congressional hearing for the AI security policies came shortly after EU made their ruling. We usually are years behind that, and so mhm, yeah, yeah. What's that? Yeah, Henry can grab them, right? Hmm. No, that'd be a cool idea. You should start it. You're a communications person. You can do it. You had a question too? Sorry. Oh, wow. Yeah, I have faith in society. It'll straighten out. Because mm, yeah, I haven't had enough. Yeah. So mm. Well, for those online. Oh, wait, we got another question. Oh yeah, sorry, Kevin. It's mostly it was just a couple comments about privacy and security online and ethics of the data that's being used. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, cool. Yeah. So the for people online, the question was, what happens to like the restaurant example I gave with the sushi restaurant? What's it do to those people? And the conversation is going to it's more like what I've stated before, where those job roles shift and innovate as one person in the room. Talks. That's how innovation is pushed. Yeah, there's a McDonald's in Oakbrook, I think, that has like a little conveyor belt. You order from the machine, it does all this thing and shoots out. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna close the Zoom though. So thanks for joining everybody. Uh, and the slides will be shared. I think Henry, you probably have the email addresses. Cool. All right. Thanks everyone. Mhm.